Hello, everybody. Welcome to Carla's Bunny Trail. I'm Carla, your host. Let's see what kind of bunny trails I take you down today. Well, first, I would like to introduce this baby here. This baby is the Tori Sculpt, and I have named her Blakelyn after my niece. Her hair is a lot like my niece, very curly, but it's a lot like mine. And she has beautiful blue eyes, and that smile, you guys, is it not contagious? Well, we are doing a tag today, and that tag is something new. And I wrote that down, and I'm trying to find I have to write things down, you guys, because I don't do too good at remembering um, all the new tags that are out there, and I want to try to cover all my people that I watch. So I had it a while ago. Hang on just a minute. Give me just a second, everybody. Oh, I know y'all are probably shouting at the screen telling me what it is, who it is. Oh, New Doll Clothes, yes, by Jay at J Dolls UK. And this is an outfit that I have bought. I might have bought it on our New Year's Eve. Well, it was on New Year's probably that I went and bought it. I can't remember exactly, but it is new and it has not been worn yet. And I absolutely loved it. It is a legged romper. It snaps between the legs and up here on the shoulders. It is, what was it called? A jinxing is what it's called. And it's got bright rainbow stripes going horizontal all the way down it. The colors stack on top of each other and they go from yellow to green, sky blue, a dark pink, a light pink, red, orange, and back to yellow again. And it's all the way down. I absolutely love it. The cuffs at the bottom of the legs are red. So we put a red bow on baby Blakelyn. The snaps are orange. And I just paired it with a pink shirt. Now, what I really was hoping I was going to be able to find is a yellow onesie to put underneath it. And I could not find one that was this yellow. Now, the lighting seems to be pretty good, but let me click on my flash and see. Oh, you can see those beautiful blue eyes, you guys. And she just has on just simple pink little shoes. I don't know if you'd call those crib shoes. You know, the bottoms are soft. But there we have it. We have this beautiful little girl right here. Now, I wanted to do another tag for this video, and it is from Tammy at My Reborn Nursery, and it is family memories. And the memories that I'm going to share today are going to be of my dad. And my dad passed. I think it's been about a year and a half now ago, and I'm choosing to speak about him because he is the closest person that I did miscarry with a baby when I was about 5.5 months pregnant. And that was a little boy. But so that, that's a whole new feeling. And this that I'm talking about today, my dad has been it's been very difficult for me. And I'm in Tammy's group on Facebook that is 100 days daily devotional group of any devotion that you want to do. And I'm finding it very difficult to maybe there is some hidden anger in there. It's coming up, and at first I had a hard time writing in it, but anyway, so I'm just saying that I would like, because the daily devotion that I'm working on has a lot to do with what I'm going through, my journey with God right now, and my dad's death, that I would like to share some good things, some memories about growing up. A couple of them. I think I've got like 4 just jotted down. So I'll try not to keep y'all all night. One of the memories I really enjoyed was one fall year. My brother and I wanted to have our own Christmas money to spend. And so the deer lease we went to that we grew up on, had pecan trees everywhere. It was just massive deer lease we went to. It actually was 2 parts to it. One was on one side of the road, and then across the road was the other side. And my dad actually grew up on this deer lease as well. So it was, a place that was very special to our family. They had built a cabin out there, and they were very close with the owners of the property. It was actually, I think it was brothers, and they might have been twin brothers that actually owned it. I'm not for sure, but anyway, so we went out to the deer lease, and we got under the pecan trees, and we spread out this huge tarp on the ground. And then my dad, he was the only one that ever got to be the thrasher. And he had this huge long pole, and he would stick that pole up in the trees and whack, 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 whack on the branches, and it would knock the pecans down that were ready to fall. And while we're under the tree picking up the pecans, he was just slapping himself laughing, because these pecans falling, it may not seem like much fall of a distance, that it would hurt, but yes, it didn't feel too good when those pecans were falling and knocking us in the noggin and on our backs and, just all over. And all of us were yelling, ow, ow, ow. And he was just laughing and laughing. And it's funny because he never let us be the thrasher. He always got to be the thrasher. So that was one memory that's dear to my heart about my dad. Another memory was in the evenings after we would have dinner. We lived way out in the country. My husband actually, when I met him, I was 15 years old. And they always called me the Boondock Girl because I lived out in the boondocks. There was an oldies song, and I don't know it, but my husband's parents are older than my parents. And Brian's daddy right now is 78, and my mom is 56. So that's how much older Brian's parents were from mine. And they listened to the oldies. And so Brian's nephew, who was 3 at the time when we started dating, called me the Boondock Girl. We lived way out in the country, where you had to come into town to deer hunt. And we literally did. Our nearest neighbor was, I think it was either 2 or 5 miles from our house. So, you couldn't see your neighbor when you walked out the door. All you saw was in front of our house was a huge cornfield. To the right of our house, another cornfield. The backyard was a huge pasture that was, just there, a barn. And then to the left of our house was a tank. So, that's what you saw when you walked out. I grew up playing in the cornfields and running around barefoot. And none of y'all probably don't want to know this, but we'd have cow patty contests where you'd pick up dry cow patties and chunk them at each other. And, I'm a natural country girl. And, a memory would be like after dinner every evening. It was just a thing. After dinner, we all went outside and sat in chairs out in the yard and just talked about the day, and watched the deer that would come out to eat every night. That was just nothing special to talk about. We just talked about the day, and I miss that a lot. You've got so much technology these days that the kids keep their heads buried in their phones and TVs and on their games, that I miss those small talk hours. We'd sit out there, the sun would be, setting and going down, and that's, we'd stay out there until dark. Dark time is what we'd call it. And then we'd go inside. Another memory I have of my dad was during basketball season, you guys. I'm a tall woman. I'm 5'9", so I'm above average in height. And my coaches seemed to believe that because I was tall, that meant I could play basketball. Boy, were they wrong. The only sport that I was good at was cheerleading. And, but they seemed to think that, they were gonna make a basketball player out of me starting my freshman year. And oh my goodness, they were so wrong. So then my sophomore year came around, and they were like, it's okay. The coach said, I will work with you after school. I will personally work with you. And he wanted to know, why don't you want to play basketball? And my brain could not remember plays, and every week coach changed the name to the plays. And so you were having to remember plays with these new names for every game. I couldn't do it. My mind just could not remember the plays. It could not remember the names to the plays. And so I was part of his JV team, and it was horrible. I threw up before every game because I did not want to play basketball at all. But my dad, trying to help me, become more confident in my basketball skills, lack of basketball skills. During basketball season, every evening after dinner, we would go out and we'd play one-on-one. And he was pretty tough on me, I think he did let me get around and make a couple goals, but towards the end, I had really improved on my offense and defense skills, that I could get around him and make a basketball goal, And then we would play what we called pig or horse. And it's, where whoever started the game, say if my dad started the game, he would shoot some kind of shot, and then if he made it, then I had to shoot. However, if he shot a 3-point shot and made it, then I had to shoot it like that. If he stood with his back to the goal and shot over his head backwards and made the goal, then I had to. But if he missed, then it was my turn. And if I could do a layup, then he had to do it exactly how I did it. If I did it, skipping, or, if I put a twist in it, something silly, he had to do it exactly the way I did it. And so playing basketball with my dad, that was a fun memory I had of my dad. And then we're 14 minutes in, so I'm going to give you one more memory. My dad was a fisherman until the day he died. That was his hobby. He loved to fish. Maybe I'll share one more thing after this, because I just thought of something. But we went fishing in Waco, Texas, and at Lake Waco. And it was just me and him. I cannot remember as a girl why. I don't know if I was, I don't know. I don't know where my mom and brother were. I was just with Dad that day, and we had gone fishing, and he had fixed me up a fishing pole. And I caught my very first fish fishing with my daddy. And so that is a very special memory that I have. One other memory that I would like to share is, my dad didn't have any interest in my baby dolls, but he was there. Sorry, when I first started collecting dolls. And he loved to see these dolls. He could not believe how real they actually looked. And my first baby that I had, my first reborn was it's funny how these things sneak up on you, you don't realize how sensitive you are about something. I think doing my journaling, I think that's made some things surface for me. But my first reborn was my Joseph Awake 3-month, and then 2 weeks later, maybe I got my April sculpt that I named Willow Flower, and he was super fascinated with just how real these babies had looked because he had never seen them before, and he was the one that encouraged me to paint my very first baby, which is the only one I have painted in my collection because I painted her, stripped her. It's my Katie Lynn sculpt that I have, and he was so encouraging, and had such faith in my skills to be able to paint her. He was so impressed with my little Katie Lynn. He was just a huge supporter, even though he didn't understand it, and I believe that my mom is very crafty as well. She doesn't have as much confidence, but my dad, he was what we called he'd always, if you called him up and said, in the later part of his years, he was retired, and he had injured his back, and so he was retired. So he was always looking for something to do. And if you called him up and said, "Hey, Daddy, what are you doing?" He'd say, "Oh, I'm just tinkering." Gosh, I'm sorry, you guys. I think we're gonna just go ahead and end this video on that note. I'm so sorry, but I thank you all if you're still with me listening to me cry like a little baby. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for supporting my channel. And God bless you all. Shalom.